Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live on YouTube and live on Facebook, where we unpack news from our city, state, and country. We unpack your comments, ideas, and suggestions and combine all this information, putting it to good use as a community of English speaking locals. Boom, boom, boom. Today is Friday. It's Friday, June 27, and it's been raining all week. And I'm excited that the weekend is here because I will make time to go and spend some time in nature tomorrow. So I'm excited to see how the rain has transformed the nearby forests and the hills and all that good stuff. So we are going to get started with today's broadcast. We have a little bit of everything. We want to find out how you're dealing with the whole Intercam situation. I have a little bit of an update there. I also have another update regarding President Sheinbaum about something that the United States Pam Bondi said. She always looks to be in such a good mood. We'll get to that in a moment. And I also want to unpack an email that I received promoting an event. And I want to get your feedback and inspiration about what gets you out of the house to go to things. I have my own ideas, but it's always good for me to check in with you because I'm not the only person in this town that's in the business of getting people out of the house. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Let me reach out for my buttons, which I forgot to put in the proper place, and let me summon the news. And of course, yes, we will start with national news today because I'm sure this is important. Yesterday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum spoke out regarding the sanction imposed by the United States Department of the Treasury on three Mexican institutions for alleged money laundering. In this regard, President Sheinbaum stated that there is no evidence, just rumors. However, she mentioned that the Ministry of Finance had already conducted an investigation through the National Banking and Securities Commission and found administrative violations for which they were sanctioned, but no evidence of money laundering. Of course, in an unprecedented decision, and despite of what President Sheinbaum said, the National Banking and Securities Commission ordered the temporary management intervention of CI Banco and Intercam Banco after both institutions were identified by the United States as financial facilitators of drug and fentanyl trafficking. The official statement reads, the intervention aims to replace their administrative bodies and legal representatives in order to safeguard the rights of these institutions. The decision is based on Article 129 of the Credit Institutions Law and directly responds to the actions announced hours earlier by the United States Department of the Treasury, which sanctioned the three banks for allegedly operating as a financial channel for criminal organizations in Mexico. Of course, this is what's happening at national level. We know that Intercam here in Puerto Vallarta is working as it should. I have heard from some of you that you've moved money and things seem to be working fine. If anybody has any questions or anybody has any information that might be helpful to others, please feel free to share it in the comments. Now, sticking to national news, President Claudia Sheinbaum also responded to Pam Bondi, asserting that the United States Attorney General is not well informed after including Mexico on the U.S. enemies list, along with Iran and other countries due to fentanyl trafficking. And I quote President Sheinbaum: "There is a great deal of cooperation. We are about to close a new security agreement with the United States stemming from the first meeting held in Washington in February. This is our position, and we will continue to coordinate without subordination." End quote. The president emphasized this during her morning press conference yesterday after being questioned by journalists attending the event. Ay, Pam Bondi. But this is not about her, it's about how Mexico reacts to all these adventures. In local news, Puerto Vallarta International Airport strengthens its international network with the addition of 3 new routes to Canada thanks to the launch of Porter Airlines operations in the 2025 winter season. The Canadian airline will fly from Toronto, Ottawa, and Hamilton, consolidating Vallarta as one of the Mexican destinations with the highest passenger traffic from the North American country. With these new connections, the airport will connect with 17 Canadian cities and reach a total of 37 international destinations and 13 domestic destinations. This expansion positions our airport as the second airport in Mexico with the most passengers from Canada, considering that 1 in 3 international visitors arriving at this airport is from Canada. Now, all of this is lovely, but with all these foreign interests in Puerto Vallarta, there's always 2 sides to a coin. And Puerto Vallarta is, as a matter of fact, facing a severe housing crisis that is pushing its local population out, according to a recent report from Vallarta en Línea. A boom in foreign investment and the rise of short-term vacation rentals have caused property prices and rents to skyrocket, making the city unaffordable for the residents who sustain its vibrant tourism industry. As landlords increasingly favor lucrative short-term rentals on platforms like Airbnb, long-term housing for residents has become scarce. Consequently, local Vallartenses, are being displaced, forced to move to communities on the outskirts of the city or even into the neighboring state of Nayarit. This shift, of course, imposes long, costly, and difficult daily commutes on the very workforce that powers Vallarta's hotels and restaurants. And I forgot to change my update for this heading. How is the number of condo buildings and condo units in Puerto Vallarta affecting you, affecting your rent, affecting your life? As locals, please feel free to share your comments, and we will take a look at those in a second. But first, let us take a quick look at the weather forecast to see what's going on out there. Snarky Weatherman says, "Oh, quick, we must sacrifice the entire state of Delaware to appease the sun god." I have no idea what's going on in Delaware, north of the border. If anybody does, please feel free to fill us in. It is 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 72%. And our weather forecast for today and for the rest of the weekend says we're going to have clear skies today with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 23%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. Tomorrow, mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 57%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. Then on Sunday, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high chance of rain of 82%, and a high of 31 and a low of 25. And this is what we have for the first half of the broadcast. For the second half, I am going to try my best to sound inspiring and not to sound lectury. And I say that as a disclaimer as we continue with the broadcast. You see, yesterday I received this on my email from Patrick Henry Murray. We have an event this Saturday. Please view the link below. And there's a link. Just like that. No good morning, no thank you, no we would appreciate if you. Oh, it did say please view the link below. But, of course, I went and viewed it. But even before we go there, um, whenever I receive blank messages like that or messages without any kind of greeting, to me, it feels like how we feel when we get to our cars and we find that somebody has left a flyer that we didn't ask for in our car or our mailboxes in our apartment buildings. Um, I don't, I don't get it, but I could be wrong. I like my thank yous. I like my good mornings. I like my good afternoons. And to make a point, I went to AI this morning. And by the way, if you are a small business and you're not relying on AI to make you more efficient, you are missing out. This morning, I went to AI based on all this email that I got, and I asked AI, does saying good morning and thank you improve the quality of your life? And AI told me it does. You see, AI told me that saying good morning is a simple act of connection through which you are acknowledging someone's presence. You're saying, I see you, you matter. This can shift the tone of any interaction, especially first thing in the day, although it could also work for good afternoon or good evening. Saying good morning or greeting someone also sets a positive tone. You're choosing friendliness over indifference, and this can ripple into better moods, smoother interactions, and stronger relationships. Last but not least, saying good morning signals openness. It invites mutual goodwill, even with strangers, the kind of micro connection that builds social trust. And what did AI have to say about thank you? Well, thank you is a daily dose of gratitude. It reinforces kindness because expressing gratitude reminds both you and others that something good just happened. It boosts your mood because gratitude activates parts of the brain associated with well being and can lower stress. And it strengthens bonds because people who feel appreciated are more likely to help again, collaborate, and connect with sincerity. Bottom line, both phrases cost nothing, but over time they nurture respect, they nurture empathy, mindfulness, and belonging. So, according to AI, saying good morning or good afternoon or good night and saying thank you doesn't just improve the quality of your life, it improves the quality of your days. But let's get back to this business. Of course, I clicked on it. I'm a curious cat. And it pointed to an event which is called A Soulful Mixer No Cover, featuring three individuals, Henry, Shannon Miracle, and Jason Mathis. This is going to be on Saturday at 5 p.m. at La Catrina Cantina. Now, I've been to La Catrina Cantina not too long ago, around that time, as a matter of fact, and I loved it. It's a great place. The air is conditioned. The popcorn is free and salty. It encourages you to ask for more cocktails from the sexy looking wait staff and very kind wait staff, I should say. When I was there, I was truly, truly um, happy to be there, particularly because I was listening to Gloria Fiona sing for the first time. What a beautiful voice she has. But what do we know about Henry, Shannon Miracle, and Jason Mathis? Let me show you on the screen what was included as a description of their event. Get ready for an unforgettable night. Shannon Miracle, Henry, and Jason Mathis are bringing their incredible soulful mixer to concert to make you groove like never before. Their melodies blend the best of soul, R&B, and funk, creating a magical experience that will keep you dancing nonstop. We guarantee you'll get chills from the emotion. From the infectious beats to the soul touching vocals, this event will be pure fire. You don't want to miss this musical explosion of energy and passion. My first question to you is: does this get you out of the house? Did you learn enough about these three individuals to get out of the house? I mean, you already know that you're going to an awesome venue with air conditioned, great drinks, sexy waiters, free popcorn, and a comfortable atmosphere. But does that description get you out of the house? I personally have some issues with it, particularly with phrases like make your groove like never before or a magical experience that will keep you dancing nonstop. We guarantee you'll get chills from the emotion. I mean, they actually guarantee that you're going to get chills. That reminds me of Peter Hegseth saying that it was obliteration, but let's not go there. That's a completely different ballgame. So, once again, I thought to myself, well, I don't know that this gets me out of the house. I wonder again if this gets you out of the house. Why do I wonder that? Why is it important for me? Well, because I am in the business of getting people out of the house. I present music appreciation presentations. I want to entice people, but I want to entice people with facts. That's the way I've done it. So once again, I relied on wonderful Chat GPT to give me a helping hand. And I said to Chat GPT, please take a look at this information and tell me if it is effective given your expertise in promotion and PR, and, and tell me what you think. So AI says, this is what AI had to say. The enthusiasm is clear and infectious with phrases like pure fire, unforgettable night, and musical explosion, creating urgency and emotion. So they get points. The genre is established. It says soul, R&B, and funk, which is a plus. But then there's a but. However, it leans heavily on generalities, says ChatGPT. Phrases like incredible magical experience, chills from the emotion that don't give the reader enough specifics to picture the vibe or why this concert is different from others. ChatGPT also pointed to a couple of other details that I'm not going to get into. And then ChatGPT volunteered a kick ass description, given the information that was provided, on how to better entice people to go there. Why do I say this? Well, I say this because I'm hoping to inspire other people to pay more attention to the way we communicate. Because at the end of the day, we want to be enticed as audience members. Um, and we want to get out of the house, at least from time to time. Check out the interesting, if I may digress for a second, although this is a lot of personal feelings, please bear with me. You know, restaurants entice with beautiful photographs. Restaurants entice with menus that describe their dishes. Imagine if a restaurant tried to be successful uh, by saying things like, "We guarantee you'll be satiated," and everything is mouth watering um, in a tropical atmosphere. I mean, would you be enticed to go to these restaurants? So the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm not throwing shade at the event. If I was around at 5 o'clock, I might go in for some popcorn and be pleasantly surprised by three dudes that I know nothing about. I will be curious to learn more about, but that is my humble little take on a couple of items here: kindness and enticing information. Oh, and a third one: ChatGPT, friends. If you are a small business and you're not using ChatGPT, you are missing out. Last but not least, as I said, everything seems to be green out there. And a kind, wonderful viewer sent me this photograph of Isla Rio Cuale this morning. This is going to be our cover photo for today's show notes. And I hope if you are in town that you'll get a chance to enjoy the greening of our surroundings as we continue forward through the summer months. And with that said, let us take a quick look at your comments and reactions this morning. Hello, David Riley. A new person. I've been watching offline on YouTube and finally made it on time today. Good for you. Thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to see you there. I certainly hope that other people gave you a nice welcome. I see Karen did. Thank you for that, Karen. I see comments on President Sheinbaum. Thank you very much. Ah, David volunteers. We'll be there July 26th for a week. Trip number 11, I think. I love Puerto Vallarta. David, if we can answer any questions or connect you with anything that is particularly important to you, that's what we are here for. And I hope you will have a wonderful, wonderful trip. Let's see. I expect the United States simply doesn't want people to send money to Mexico. Well, from what I've read, they just don't want to encourage people to do financing that will help criminal organizations do their work. But again, that's what I'm reading. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Let's see. She's not well informed is one way to put it. Well, I bow in our president's general direction just because she always remains calm and collected with her comments, and she always gives the benefit of the doubt. So maybe Ms. Bondi is not well informed. Why do we know? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, here's one on Intercam. Thank you, Betsy. Intercam, yesterday I visited my branch in Emiliano Zapata and spoke with my representative. Although I was able to withdraw pesos as well as transfer pesos, they are not accepting my USA bank deposits either by check or by wire transfer. That's what I'm hearing. Betsy, I know that opening a bank account is not a walk in the park. I always bring my audiobook with me whenever I have to deal with banks. But what I've heard some people are doing is they're opening a bank account in a Mexican bank that is not in the middle of this situation. I appreciate this, Angelica, and I'm trying to keep the conversation. Of course, I'm not trying to dissuade you from sharing your opinions, but I'm trying to keep the conversation on the Mexico side. There are a lot of people there are a lot of places where you can find very heated and very wonderful discussions about what the United States is doing. I invite you to partner with me and try to focus on what Mexico does, not so much what is being done elsewhere, because this is where we are. Let's see what else we have. I'm going to read this one. Michael, if you're in the same boat as Betsy, again, I know of at least one or two people that have opened bank accounts in other Mexican financial institutions without a problem. Let's see. If looks like spam to me refers to the email that I showed you, well, yeah, it of course it looks like spam. It does not look like these gentlemen have any idea of who I am or what I do because there's no mention of me or anything. So that's another interesting point to keep in mind when you get a message that just says "open this" or "read this." That's something else that happens. Yes, Mary says a little courtesy goes a long way. Thank you, Mary, and good morning. Um, I would hope people are not displaced in Puerto Vallarta, but understand developers don't care much. They should revamp older buildings if possible so the city folk can stay in town. It's we're not going to solve the problem, not even by talking about it, Laura. Um, it's a reality of any medium sized city growing. It is part of the problem, but yes, a big part of the problem in Puerto Vallarta is the dollarization, if there is such a word, of everything, and that really shifts things around, not always in the best way for locals. Um, in Bucerias, new foreigners seem to think it's okay to walk in the street of avenues they consider low volume, where the sidewalks don't meet their quality expectations. Maybe their lives will not be as long as yours, Harold. Let's see what else. Let's see. I have noticed that south of the border, people start emails with a good morning. I have learned to do the same, as I think it is a gentle way to start a conversation. I've said this before. I always walk down the street and I say good morning or I say buenos dias. In fact, more often than not, I say buenos dias because that's my native language. And I always get a kick out of what comes out of people's mouth when they don't speak Spanish. I wish I could collect all those grumbles because sometimes they're really funny. You know, you'll be walking down the street and you say "Buenos dias," and somebody will say "Ah, rah, rah, rah," or that's what it sounds like to me, and that even deserves one of these. Moving right along. Bill and Juan are excellent people. They are my friends. They they're not my close friends, and I think they're wonderful people as well. They have done wonderful things for the city. They run this venue, and it's been very successful for Juan. They have a boat or a yacht or a vessel of one kind or another, and they've had outings on their boat. So yeah, I'm. I hope you don't think that I'm saying that they're not good individuals. Again, I have no issues with the venue. The venue is wonderful. Um, let's see. David says, Buenos dias then. Let's be kind. You know, I sleep better when I'm kind. The description doesn't usually. I go out if it's a good event that's got great reviews, exercise, food, nature, and art get us out of the house. Ron says, great perspective on the email. Karen says, beautiful photo. Wow, muy bonito, says David. Thank you. Thank you all for your feedback. David says, I love Isla Quale. I just wish I'd know what gets you out of the house. I really, it's something that you don't, I'm not going to force you to answer, but, many of us would like you to cater to our restaurants, our shows, our music appreciation presentations. And I just hope that we're doing a good job at getting you out of the house. That always helps. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Sherry's had enough. Bye all. Have a great day. Have to run. I love it. Um, I don't know if this is. I don't. I am so sorry, Valerie. This reads like spam to me, but I'm sure you're not spamming. It's just the way you worded it. Once again, Valerie is mentioning Remitly app to transfer money from USA. Pick it up at many stores, not banks. Have been with Intercam 7 years and use Remitly to transfer funds for pickup. Thank you very much for that. Yes. Loved your interview yesterday with Diana of Diana's Boat Tours. You know what I loved about it, Linda? Diana, for all the opinions and the language and the everything that is part of the beautiful Diana package, she has her elevator pitch down. She knows what she serves. She serves. And she was very clear to me on the interview when I asked her what makes your cruise experience around the bay special. She said, lots of fun and you'll make friends for life. You know, in those two phrases, Diana encompassed an overall experience, and that was enough for me to be sold. Why is this important? Because a lot of times people will ask us, you know, so what do you do for a living, or what makes your business special? And they go into these huge, long. We'll save elevator pitch for another day. Apologies again, Valerie. Valerie's like, no, not spam. It's me. I swear. Again, I apologize. There was a combination of all caps and in lowercase language that I read, and my first reaction was, this is spam. So if this is working, Remitly is the name of the application. So please consider it if it is something that is, if you need to do these transactions. Keith says, the closest I have of being hit by car when crossing the street in Britain, where the traffic is coming from the right, not left. Okay. Okay, I don't know. This may not have been meant for me because I missed the connection. But that's okay too. Anyhow, this is what we have for today. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for supporting what we do. We try to be inspiring. We try to create connections. If there's something here for you, I'm glad you're here with us. And we'll be back tomorrow morning for more coffee, more stories, and more headlines.